to my channel. I am so happy you're here. I've been in the mood to read some romance books, and if you watched my July TBR video, you know that my TBR is very romance heavy this month. So I thought we'd do a reading vlog only reading romance books. I do have quite a few books to choose from, but I think I've already picked two books that I want to start this video off with. And the first one is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This is her latest release, and I pre-ordered this, so I had this sitting on my TBR for a few weeks now, I guess, and I'm really excited. And then I also have Lights Out by Navessa Allen on my Kindle. This is a dark romance. I also don't know a lot about this one, but I think it has to do something with a stalker and she falls in love with that stalker. So it's definitely going to be a very dark romance. I usually don't read a lot of dark romance. I'm intrigued to see what I think about it. It is Sunday night. It's almost 9 p.m. So I think I'm gonna get ready for bed now and start reading Lights Out in bed on my Kindle. I do have to work all week next week, so we're gonna see how much reading I will get done. But like I said, I'm really in the mood to read tons of romance books right now. So I'm very excited for the next few days. It's Wednesday, and I think I haven't talked to you since Sunday, but I started reading Lights Out on Sunday night, and I finished it on Monday night, so I've read it in the span of under 24 hours, and that shows how much I liked it. I rated it 4 stars. Lights Out is about Allie, who's a trauma nurse, and I loved reading the scenes about her working because it reminded me of Grey's Anatomy, and I haven't watched the last few seasons because that show is just not good for my mental health, but I loved it for like the first 10 seasons. So I really enjoyed reading about her working in a hospital and in an ER, and she develops a secret kink for this masked TikTok guy who posts like thirst traps with a knife. And then one night that masked man who she's been crushing on breaks into her house to see if her online interest is real. And he's like a pretty big stalker. Like, it's definitely not normal and not healthy. But it switches between Allie's point of view and also Josh's point of view. And we learn about his past and why he is the way he is. So there's like a lot of depth and psychological facts, not really facts, but you learn a lot about their trauma, and I really enjoyed it. I love the banter between the two of them. I'm kind of conflicted because it is sold as a dark romance, and that stalking aspect is definitely really dark. Like, you probably shouldn't stalk anybody. But Josh, so the masked man, is such a golden retriever boyfriend. And I also didn't mind the spice scenes in this book, but they also weren't what I think of when I think of dark romance. They were, like, the spice scenes were like a little kinky, but nothing really out of the ordinary, so it's definitely a light dark romance. I really enjoyed it, and I already put a hold on a second book in the series on Libby. Hopefully I will be able to read it soon. Because I binged this book. I also have some other updates. I started reading Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I'm on page 52 and I'm loving it. I'm going to talk about this more later. Today at work, I wanted to start a new book on my Kindle because I finished Lights Out, and I wanted to start A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, but I realized that this is the second part of a series. I mean, it's a romance series, so you can probably read it out of order, but I don't want to. So I got the first book in a series on Libby. It's called A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, and I got 30% into it, I think. And I've also been really enjoying this one. I'm also going to talk more about the plot later, because now I want to sit down and read Desert Night City Lights by Daisy Chandler in one sitting. It only has 230 pages, so it should be manageable, and I'm just craving some uninterrupted reading time. I actually also got a bookmark for this book, and on the back it says Mia and Trey, so these are the main characters. A single weekend beneath the desert sky to find forever. Will climbing the celebrity ladder in Hollywood destroy it all? So it's a Hollywood romance, but we're gonna see it's definitely a summer romance, so that's perfect. That's all for now. I'm gonna probably read for a few hours now, and then I will get back to you. I did read Desert Nights, City Lights in one sitting last night, but I was so tired. Once I finished it, I went to bed immediately, so I didn't update you. But I didn't enjoy this that much. I'm gonna rate it 2.5 stars. This was like it kind of reminded me of the Magnolia Parks universe, but unfortunately not in a good way. This was also about rich people and celebrities, but it all felt really... I'm obviously not a celebrity living in Hollywood, and I don't know any celebrities, but this still felt all really exaggerated and over the top and not realistic. This was about Mia, who's a singer, and Trey, who's an actor and model, and they met each other through friends and first met at Coachella, and they hit it off immediately, so it was really insta-lovey, and I'm not the biggest fan of that trope. And from that point on, it was very toxic, mostly from Trey's side. I just don't get why she stayed with him. I did like the vibes of this book and that Hollywood setting. That's why the rating is not lower, but I think this is her debut novel, and without wanting to sound mean, but you can really tell the writing was just not good. It reminded me of a Wattpad story and not a really good one. And there was always something happening. There were so many random things that happened. Like Trey all of a sudden had a stalker and this scandal. Her dad got cancer, and like, of course bad things happen to people, but it just wasn't really realistic for all of that to happen in the span of a few weeks. And then I also read some more of A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon this morning. I'm now 44% into the book. I'm on my lunch break right now, but I may listen to some of it on audio while working because I'm really enjoying the book. This is about Mariel, who comes from this really powerful family of witches, but she really struggles with her magic. She's really good with plants, but that's not a kind of power that her family thinks she should be proud of. So she's practicing magic a lot, and while doing that she accidentally summons a demon, and that demon is supposed to make a soul bargain with her. He's not able to leave until she gives her soul to him, but she obviously doesn't want to do that. But she doesn't want to tell anybody that he's a demon because she's embarrassed about the whole thing and that she struggles with the magic so much. So they start fake dating. The town that this is set in sounds so magical. I also really like the banter between the two characters, and it's just been really cute so far. Just got back home and took a quick shower. It's 8 p.m. on Friday, and I finished reading A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon last night. It was really cute. I'm gonna rate it 3.5 or 3.75 stars. I really liked the world building, or like the town that this was set in. It was just really cozy and atmospheric, and I also really enjoyed the banter and the chemistry between the two main characters. The tropes and some of the characters were really over the top and exaggerated, but that also made the book more charming in my opinion. I'm only talking about good things and still rated it not even 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. It just wasn't anything. It's not a book I will think about a lot, if that makes sense. So that's why my rating is so low. But I immediately jumped into the next book, which is A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch. This is the second book in the series, and it's set in the same small town. And it follows one of Mariel's, who was the female main character in the first book, one of her friends, and about Astaroth, who's a demon who has been banished to Earth, and Caladia, who's the female main character, is trying to help him figure things out because he also doesn't remember anything except for some basic facts about himself, like his name and age and stuff like that. And she's also trying to help him get revenge on the demon that banished him to Earth. Because of some things that happen in the first book, they don't start off liking each other very much, or at least Caladia doesn't really like Astaroth. So it's definitely a fun banter. So far, I'm not enjoying it any more or less than the first book. There's this one character in the books. His name is Alcatraz, and he's Mariel's great-great-great-great-great-a-lot grandfather. He's super old because he figured out how to basically be immortal. And he's so funny because he figured out how to be immortal but not how to not age. So he also looks really, really old, and he's just so funny. I'm obsessed with him. I could read a whole book about him. This is so funny, I really can't. I'm on page 269 of A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch. I think all in all, I'm enjoying this a little more than the first part, but I did like the female main character in the first book a lot more. Probably because I can relate to her a lot. But like I said, I'm still having a good time reading this. I don't really like the smut, but what else is new? So, and I think that that's just the author's writing style. But like I said about the first part, it's all very exaggerated and over the top. But I think that's just part of the series, so it's fine. It's 7 p.m. I had my final heels class before summer break last night, and we filmed ourselves, and I was so exhausted afterwards. I fell asleep pretty early, and then today I wasn't feeling great. My whole body hurts. I've had a migraine pretty much all day. It's definitely better, but I'm still very exhausted, so I'm not gonna stay up too late. I'm probably gonna sit on my couch for an hour or two, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish this tonight, but I'm gonna read some more. A couple of chapters ago, there was the one bed trope, and I haven't read about that trope in forever, so that made me really happy. And the male main character, I mean, he's a demon, so he's obviously not the nicest person ever, but he's very much a toucher and you'll die type of guy. So if you do like that in characters, in general, this is really full of tropes people enjoy, so it is really fun to read. 4 stars. This book was a little bit more action-packed than the first one. I think that's why I liked it a little more, and because I was more familiar with the town and the characters. So I'm really excited to read the third book, but I'm not going to do that right now. But this was a really fun read. I think I have mentioned that I started reading Great Big Beautiful Life a few days ago, and I just continued reading. This is about Alice and Hayden, who both are journalists and writers, and they both have the goal to write the biography of Margaret, who's the daughter of a very famous family, and people haven't seen her or heard about her in years. So they now both want to work with her to write her biography and to decide who Margaret wants to write her biography. She starts this trial month where both of them interview her, and by the end of the month she wants to make a decision who's gonna get the job. I'm only on page 70, but I'm already loving this so much. Emily Henry's writing style really reminds me of Taylor Jenkins Reid in this book. Maybe that's just because of the topic of this book or the way that the story is told, because it's about a famous person, and most of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books are about famous people and their lives, and also because it's an interview, so it kind of reminds me of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And I just got to the first part of the story, and I didn't know that the book switches from the plot and also the story of Margaret. We learn what people or the tabloids have said about Margaret, and then we learn the actual side of her story. So that is really interesting. I'm definitely intrigued to learn more about her and also see Alice's and Hayden's relationship develop. Alice is this really bubbly and kind and happy person, and Hayden is more closed off and a little grumpy, so it's definitely the grumpy sunshine trope. Right now Alice seems kind of naive and optimistic about everything, so I'm curious to see if we learn more about her past and also her thoughts to why she is that way. That sounds like it's a bad thing to be positive and happy all the time, but I think nobody can be happy all of the time, so curious to see if we learn more about that and also about Hayden's past. It's been raining so much today, and I'm actually really excited to wear a hoodie today because it's been so hot the past few weeks. It's been over 35 degrees Celsius, and it really cooled down today, which made me really happy because I'm excited for fall. But I did want to film a reading summer books for a week after filming this video, but now it's supposed to get really cold and rainy the next few days. I just heard thunder. It's the perfect reading weather, but my lunch break is almost over, so I have to go back to work. I would love to just sit and read all day today, but we can do that tonight, so it's all good. I'm on page 274 and I'm loving it so much. What I really like about the romance is that it's a slow burn, but not a slow burn. I don't really know how to describe it because I feel like it doesn't make sense, but they start to like each other very early on in the book, but decide not to explore this relationship any further because they both are fighting for the same job. And it would make things very complicated, but they still keep coming back to each other and keep wanting to be with the other, and it's so wholesome because I feel like no matter how hard they try to stay out of each other's way, they keep getting pulled back together, and it's just meant to be. It's 5:30. I wrapped up work for today and just took a quick shower. I have exactly 100 pages left in Great Book Beautiful Life, so I'm gonna sit down now and finish this book. I'm so excited, but I also don't want it to end. And I've been getting so emotional throughout this whole book, even with scenes that aren't really sad necessarily. I still tear up. So we're gonna see how this ends. The only thing that I haven't mentioned yet is that Alice and Hayden don't talk to each other about their interviews, so they both don't know what the other one is talking about with Margaret. So I'm curious to see what the reason for that is, or how they experience it differently, because we only get Alice's point of view and her experiences with those interviews. And then also, I already mentioned that this book reminds me a lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid, and the way Margaret, so the woman that is interviewed by Alice and Hayden, met her husband reminds me so much of Daisy Jones and the Six, and that is my favorite book of all time, so that made me love this book even more. I'm just really having a great time. After finishing this book, I can't even begin to tell you how much I loved it. I'm pretty sure that this is my new favorite book by Emily Henry, and it's definitely one of my favorite books of this year. I just watched TikTok edits about this book for like 30 minutes, and it made me so happy. The characters just feel so real. That's one thing I only have with Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. The characters always feel so real, as if I could just Google them and find them. And I've seen a lot of negative reviews about this book, and I don't really get them. A lot of people were really bored by Margaret's chapters, so the interviews. But that was almost, I just wanted to say that that was my favorite part of the story, but I also loved Alice's and Hayden's story. I can't really decide what I like more, but not a single page of this was boring to me. I'm so connected to all of the characters, and I felt so many emotions. Emily Henry is definitely an author that can make you feel things, and not a lot of authors are able to do that. And I also just realized the meaning of the cover. I could talk about this for hours, but I've read a lot of romance books the past week, and I think it's time to end this video here. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!